the last conversation I had with my grandmother, feeling something like, "No, get out. What are you doing here? Get out." And I was like, this is my grandma who I walked with and discovered the moon. She taught me what the moon was. And I was back from medical school and I came to visit her at the nursing home, and she was about 70 pounds. She had just broken her leg. She fell out of bed. And she was basically, I've never seen one of those CPR practice dummies. She was like a little tiny torso and a huge head, and she was just laying there, and unfortunately she didn't know what it was. And what the heck does that have to do with like bringing the energy down in this room? Well, so I'm a chiropractic neurologist, and the reason I'm here is because I want to talk, and hopefully if I have time, show you the power of music in preventing you and your family from going through something like that. And so to do that, I want to talk a little bit about the brain and a little bit about music's effect on the brain, and show you, instead of just talk about it as some philosophical thing, like actually show you what it looks like. So most people, when they start thinking about the brain, they start thinking about when they have a problem. And so just a quick run through of dementia. Most of us can kind of tell when something isn't quite going right with our brain. We're like, hey, gosh, I missed that word or something. It's called subjective cognitive loss, and most of us experience that. The next step after subjective cognitive loss is mild cognitive loss. And so that is when other people are starting to notice that you're losing a step, okay? Now there's something called cognitive domains. I'm not swear to you, this is gonna be more exciting, okay? But basically language, memory, attention, executive function, being able to plan, being able to move, and then social function. All of those things are very useful in planning and going to a festival, which is kind of cool, so I'll get to that later. But basically, in mild cognitive loss, what happens is 2 of those cognitive domains start to suck. So maybe somebody in this room have got memory already, or you have attentional issues, or maybe you have numbness and tingling somewhere, or your balance isn't very good. Okay, that's a cognitive domain. If 2 cognitive domains are struggling, that's mild cognitive loss. If that progresses to where you can't take care of yourself anymore, that's dementia. Now, when people think of dementia, they think of Alzheimer's, which is about 60% of people that have dementia. And that is pretty rough, okay? That's what my grandma was going through. But did you know there's also 5 other types of dementia? So there's vascular dementia, there's Lewy body dementia, which is what Robin Williams had. There's frontal temporal dementia, which is what Bruce Willis is dealing with right now. There's chronic traumatic encephalopathy, which is what like all the football players that are being autopsied after suicide have, and some of the veterans of PTSD have, suicide have. And then there's something called cerebellar cognitive affective syndrome. Now, the end stage of that is dementia. Dementia means you can't take care of yourself, and like a lot of us here in this room actually are headed towards that, and we're headed towards that very quickly, and we're seeing more of it now than any other time. But what I want you to know, what's so cool, is that music, actually, if you start listening to music and you listen to music often enough and you make it a center stone of your life, can actually prevent certain types of dementia. Now, certainly you can't prove prevention, but what I want to do is show you something, okay? So, back to the different types of dementia. We have Alzheimer's dementia. Well, the first thing that happens in Alzheimer's dementia is like your short-term memory goes. So, what did you for breakfast 3 days ago? Or what for dinner 3 days ago? Okay, if you're having a hard time remembering it, your short-term memory may not be so good, right? But people that have frontal temporal dementia, their memory is fine. What happens is their personality changes. And what's one of the first things that changes? They stop doing the things they like to do. Suddenly they don't like hanging out with their friends anymore because the stuff they love to do no longer they love, okay? And that can progress to loss of speech, which is what Bruce Willis has. A person can have Lewy body dementia. Now, do you know anybody with restless leg syndrome? Do you know anybody who has nightmares where they act out their nightmares? And they actually can accidentally push their partner out of bed, or they get out of bed and they start running around? That's a type of nightmare. It's already a sleep disorder that actually is correlated early on with Lewy body dementia later in life. Lewy body dementia is like the cognitive or brain version of Parkinson's disease, or it can be correlated, but not always. Then something called vascular dementia. That's the person who's functioning pretty fine and suddenly they lose function, like after a stroke. Sometimes they have microvascular disease. One of the craziest parts about being in a neurology practice up in Wayne County is that people come into my office all the time with MRIs, and the MRIs are screaming microvascular disease, and the radiologist is calling it normal because so many people have microvascular disease from like diabetes and high blood pressure that they're calling it normal. Just like it's normal for women often to have like cramps and like have like PMS and like need to take like drugs to help them feel normal during that time of the month, or maybe they go on hormone replacement to stop symptoms, which is a physiological abnormality. A lot of people have microvascular disease that's causing dementia. So think of like your brain as like soil, and when the brain starts to die, it's like topsoil going away and you can never get it back. So each one of these types of dementia has particular exam findings and history findings that make it unique. And so although you can't prove prevention, what you can do is say, wow, so a person with frontal temporal dementia has personality changes. They may have difficulty understanding speech or repeating words back to you. And that can happen 30 years ahead of the diagnosis of dementia. So what follows is if a person has specific exam findings of frontal temporal dementia 30 years before they get it, and you work with them and they no longer exhibit signs of frontal temporal dementia or precursors to it, and they no longer exhibit symptoms of frontal temporal dementia, even if they have a family history of frontal temporal dementia, they will outlive it. Can you imagine that? So instead of spending the last 5 to 10 years of your lives in a nursing home or assisted living at somewhere between $50,000 a year to $12,000 a month, spending your life savings on a quality of life you never wanted, you can go to music festivals. Okay, so let's talk about cognitive domains. Okay, when you go to a music festival, you have to plan where you're going. That's executive function. To get there and dance, hopefully stand, okay, that's sensory motor. You remember the lyrics to the song, or remember the beat to the song that you like. You entrain yourself to the beat, okay? That's language, and that's memory. And you are socially engaging with people around you with the music. Okay, so you're actually activating every single cognitive domain. If somebody that has all of a sudden doesn't like to go out because they feel claustrophobic in crowds, and they're getting vertigo, and their balance sucks, that's something called cerebellar cognitive affective syndrome, and actually that's why they don't want to go out. And if they don't deal with those things, that can progress to dementia. So now we're talking about people with mild memory issues, with some balance issues. They have issues with personality and attention, and they have difficulty finding words sometimes. Does anybody know anybody like that? Okay, what percentage of people actually end up with dementia? Because the thing is, like, the way my grandma passed away is so undignified. And you know, we're all gonna pass away in this room, but like our quality of life matters. And so like, how can music actually help? Well, I have 11 minutes to do a demonstration on this, okay? So, does anybody in here have a family history of dementia? Okay, well, I know you, so that you could be a plant, so I'm not gonna use you. Okay. All right, so, somebody that I don't know, okay? You do? Okay, all right, and do you wanna come up here? Which type of dementia?
Yeah,
Cognitive. Okay, so it was like a memory issue or personality issue? Was it? Okay, did they have the sleep thing that I described?
No.
Okay, all right, come on, what's your name?
Carla.
Carla, come on up here. Okay. So, we've never met, right? Okay. David?
Yeah.
Can you come up here very somewhere? Do you mind holding the microphone for me?
Not at all.
So here's the thing, we can talk about it. That's fine. There's research on this, right? So what's the research say? The research says that people with dementia, like Alzheimer's dementia, which is the most studied, if they listen to music, their memory doesn't really improve, but their mood improves. Okay, but what happens to people with mild cognitive decline? It gets better in a lot of people, which is cool. So like, if you wait till you're demented to listen to music, then it may not work, okay? But ahead of that, if any exam findings that are suggestive of a precursor to dementia, and then you deal with those exam findings by maybe listening to music, and those go away, then you can say maybe you can outlive this stuff. And that's what I want to show you, because although most of you don't have access to a doctor that's going to be doing different types of functional neurology, you all have access to music. So this is kind of like a PSA. And it's also to validate how awesome festivals are and how important it is that we keep going. It's kind of a tough economic climate sometimes for festivals. Right now, the world's changing radically, but like these festivals are so important. Okay, All right, so we're gonna test your sense of smell real quick, okay? So, both of you guys, close your eyes, and tell me if you smell it's just right through your nose. Okay, you see how far that was? Okay, all right, let's wait the other side, and tell me if you felt. See, that was closer? That was the left side, that's the left frontal lobe, straight to the orbital frontal cortex. Okay, all right, now. Like, can't do that without it.
Softer toys.
This is a tuning fork. Okay, we're gonna just test her sensory hearing really quickly. Same or different? Same or different?
Hey.
There. Should touch the top of your head and it's over there.
Sure.
Go on right on top.
Do it again.
It's always that.
Louder, right.
Out on the right side. Localizing to the right side is called the Viper's test. Okay, now. Your turn. Turn your ear. Good. Now you're right. All right. So, can you take your shoes off from the side? We get a gown up here. I get some gloves. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So, then just put your feet together real close.
Okay.
So, you call it language test. We're testing balance with percussion balance.
I thought it was good.
Look down. A little backward drift. Did you see that?
I did. I felt it.
The two. Okay. All right. So, what happens as we age? You ever heard of the peanut butter challenge where people test their sense of smell with peanut butter? And that could be a really sign of memory issue. And like as people age and we notice that sometimes our balance isn't as good and our memory isn't as good. It's not a coincidence that those things happen. We kind of forget where we are in space too, and then we lose our memory. Okay, so I'm gonna have you put one foot in front of the other one, heel to toe.
Okay.
Bit and move that foot in just a little bit.
Here.
Yeah, okay, all right. And now close your eyes. Get you. A little bit to the left there. Okay, and let's do the other side. So put the other foot in front for you. You're a really good sport. Good job. Okay, eyes open. And go ahead and close your eyes. A little better on this side, but a tendency to sway to the left. Do you all see that? Now, okay, so now all of a sudden we have somebody with a family history of dementia and a little bit of a balance issue. It's mild then, okay, and a little bit of a sense of smell issue. Now, and to say that you're for sure going to get dementia. But people that have dementia have sense of smell issues, they have balance issues, and they have hearing issues because hearing goes to the temporal lobe, smell goes to the frontal lobe, and balance goes to all over the brain. The cerebellum, but basically the frontal lobe and all these other connections, okay? So now it's like, well, what if you didn't have any of these exam findings? That might mean that a person that has these exam findings later in life that has dementia, a person that has dementia will never be absent of any of these findings. So wouldn't it be cool, like, if you just listened to music and these things improved? So let's check it out. All right, so what's your favorite band? What's your favorite song?
Oh. So let's go Late Habits.
I like the Pacific, like the Flowers for Zoe. Like, let's go. Are you gonna go?
Yeah.
I like Butterfly. Like the city orders.
Thank you.
Okay, so I had that thought here. Used to make the boolean. Well, we're just gonna do the right ear because your right ear dominant. And the right ear generally projects to the left brain. Where was your sense of smell? This end. A little bit less on the left, right? Well, the left nose goes to the left brain, and that's why I picked the right ear. But then also, like, she also kept swaying to the left. Did you guys notice that? Okay, all right, so let's get this in your right ear. Okay, so the thing is like, not everybody, music is going to be their savior. But wouldn't it be cool if these exam findings changed? This is like really extreme pressure, right? Pass or fail. Okay, but the reality is, like, if music doesn't help these exam findings, maybe it's just that music isn't going to be the thing that works for her. But I can tell you in my practice, it's so much easier to send a kid on the spectrum home with music they like to listen to rather than like exercises they can't stand. And I've been sending people home this week up in Marin County, Led Zeppelin, The Weeknd, all sorts of cool stuff. They're going home, they're listening to it, they come back to the office and their exam findings are better. And it's like, isn't that sweet? Okay. All right. Here it is out. Stake that out. I know. Are you going to go my way? Here we go. Okay. What I really want to know is really tough. Okay. So go ahead and plug the left side. Time me smell that. Okay, that's further out actually. Okay, plug the right side. Tell me when you smell that. Right. Ah. I'm not entertained! You see that? That's the recipes, okay? But then the reality is like sense of smell. Anybody see Old Spice commercials? Scent is the strongest sense tied to memory, okay? Now listen, most people won't come into my office and go, hey, Dr. Joe, I can't smell this like essential oil that you just put in front of my face, okay? But I can tell you they walk in my office with things like memory issues, with sleep issues, with dreaming issues, where they're like kicking people in their sleep, restless legs, attention issues, focus issues, and this exam is part of the window into how to fix that. Now, traditionally in neurology is an amazing field. You go to neurologists, they diagnose you with dementia based upon a symptom questionnaire and an MRI. And then they basically say, dementia, 5 to 8 years to live, we're gonna put you in a nursing home. That is honorable work to understand where a person is. But there is another level to this thing. And the other level is prevention. And it is possible. We're living in the information age. There's so much we can do to take what we know and apply it to each and every one of you in here. And I would say keep listening to music. Now, I have 2 more minutes left. We're going to do a couple more of these exam findings just to see if they come through. Ready? Copy. Let's stick together first. All right, and let's do. Close your eyes. Okay. Little posterior drift still. Okay.
What not is what's.
That's right. It was left.
Yeah.
It was left. So in my office, I would just say, let's do that a little bit longer. Okay. All right. Now let's do left foot in front of the right foot. All right. And go ahead and close your eyes. Not yet. Okay. A little bit more. Last one.
Thank you. I'll take more letting.
Okay. All right. I have 1 minute and 25 seconds left here. I just want you to know there's so much that you can do to prevent one of the worst outcomes that ever is for in a life. There's so much that you can do, and it's well known. And it's like just by listening to the things that you love, you can do that. All right. Let's try it one more time. Yeah. Let's try it. There you go. Okay. Eyes open first. Eyes open first. Okay, go ahead and close your eyes. Okay, so she's going back to the left. Let's try the other side. Eyes open first. And close your eyes. Okay, that's better. Okay, now let's do both ears now. I have 30 seconds left.
Okay. 30 seconds.
And then high note. So we did a unilateral approach. We did the right ear only, but now we're going to do both ears and see if it makes that balance issue better. Now in my office, I don't always use music, but I like to send people home with the music they really dig. The thing is, a festival is more than just music, isn't it? It's lights, it's sound, it's the experience. And what you're providing when you give them that is so much more than just entertainment. You're actually helping them prevent thousands of dollars of medical expenses, and their quality of life goes up tremendously as a result if they keep attending. Okay. So let's do the side that was harder first. Yeah.
Right.
All right, eyes open first, and close your eyes.
Wow.
Yes!